Hello, welcome to the last session of our Matthew Arnold. As I referred in the previous class, we studied some different vehicles of criticism, modes of criticism, the methods that he used to criticize in the correct way, in the genuine way, that method like touchstone method and high grand style method, what he meant for implementing in the criticism. And now in the later part of his studies in poetry, we find two more different methods that he insists in the modern poetry, which had been earlier there, but in meanwhile romantic time and the age of reason, this type of method has been lost forever. And this is to be retained, he advocates in the studies of poetry. What is called moralistic criticism should be there. All right, what a topic? Moralistic criticism. All right, moralistic criticism. What all types of writings in the centuries back, all types of writings had been keeping a moral aptitude towards the end of each writing. But in the certain periods of previous decade to pre-Victorian age, this moralistic attitude or moralistic method what adopted by the former writers in classic age had been lost. So Arnold distinguishes between the poet who interprets natural world and moral world. There is a comparison. All right, what is called a natural and moral way. All right, moral way. So there had been a natural way, but in the natural world, then the moral world. Towards the end of each writing in the poem, we should have a moral world. Poet gives natural world means he gives a sense of harmony. Poet should above the interpreter of the nature. The nature has been already been corrected and what he called interpreted. But even Matthew Arnold in his studies of poetry, nature should be there, nature should be appreciated, nature should be upheld. At the same time, mankind to be led in the correct way. That is why he says in grand style, the poet should teach the mankind how to live. This how to living method to be supported by moral attitude and inheritance of morality among the mankind. So he gives much importance to morality. Poetry interprets not through natural magic but through moral profundity. There is a moral profundity. All right, moral profundity, that is the technical word. Moral profundity, you should keep a moral profundity. He calls poetry a criticism of life. Poetry is actually criticism of life, and it is meant for the mankind. It is meant for human beings. Poetry is based on experience of life. All right, experience of life. Each poet, though they write in grand style, though they relate the topics like noble birth people, noble quality people, but they keep their own experiences, what they counterparted morality. So poetry will be great if only morality included. So there should be a morality, moral profundity should be included in the poem. Poetry of revolt against moral ideas. He himself writes, poetry of revolt against moral ideas is a poetry of revolt against life. And you may copy down this statement from this essay. What he says, poetry of revolt against moral ideas. If no moral ideas pertained in the piece of writing, so if anybody makes a revolt against morality, it will be the revolt against real life. The life has no meaning at all if no morality sustained. So what he says, the objective of poetry is to bring us into the harmony with life, to explain life to us. It should explain what a beautiful life it is. Or it should explain what life it is, to tell us how to live. These are the core important ideas Arnold says in his essay. Again say objective of the poetry, he says, objective of the poetry, he says, is to bring us into harmony with life. We should harmonize with life. We should get an explanation on life. It should teach us how to live in this world. So these are the three important points what related to moral concept of the poetry, what he says. So again, what we find, this is coming again, I mean in the area of function of the poetry. What? It has a powerful method. Poetry has a powerful duty. What duty? To change our life in better way. To change, to make you to understand how to live in this world. To make you comprehend how you face the challenges of life, how you can enjoy in this life. And enjoyment is the only primary motto in our life till our death. So to make more feasible, to make our life more comfortable, to make our life more pleasable, this is the method how that a poetry should be there, and its objective is to make us more happy. That is what we call. Now the function of, related to the function of criticism, he goes somewhat during the, we already studied function of poetry. Now again we say function of criticism. Function of criticism. All right, earlier we have a concept that if criticism would spoil the real writer. Some people are there criticizing. All the poet will be murdered. All right, just like what we call in Malayalam, kulipichi, kuttine illandaka. In the sense that some people are there severely criticizing poet and piece of poem. We have seen that after writing a poem has no relation between the poem, has no relation to the poet. Immediately after writing, it is only a child of the poet and it has no relation. It is already separated. That what we studied by T.S. Eliot. It has been separated. Immediately after writing the poem is having different entity and the poet has a different entity. And no reader is allowed to criticize the poet. But only poem can be criticized. In the way, function of criticism. On the one hand, we discussed the function of poetry earlier. Now he says criticism has a function. The function, what? It should modify, it should rectify, it should correct what is written in the poem. That is called function of criticism first. Scott James, a critic, criticized Arnold, studies of poetry and function of criticism. He says function of Arnold's critic is to promote that part of culture which depends upon the knowledge of letters. All right, that is Scott James says. It is based on the words that have been arranged in the piece of writing. Arnold says duty of a critic, main duty of a critic, to bring it out into open in the life of the society. All right, or the first function of the criticism or critic's duty to explain life. Okay, that is one of the primary duty of a critic. according to Arnold, says duty of a critic, he should explain life to bring it out to the open in the life of the society. It has three important functions. All right, this criticism has three important functions. It has one. You can copy down these points because sometime they will ask you certain small question, paragraph question like that. So, function of criticism has three important functions. One, that to learn and understand things they are. All right, to learn things, all right, they are. All right, that is the first point. To learn things as such. Criticism or a critic has three important functions. You have to make an assessment what things they are. Second one, task of a missionary. Critic will be a missionary. All right, missionary, what do you mean by missionary? To lead the society into the correct way. What is the missionaries doing? Christian missionaries are there. North Indian missionaries are there. Lot of people are there. They have a duty. They have duty to correct if some people are going in different way. If they are doing crimes, missionaries would act to correct them. Like that, a critic should be a missionary. Very important. He should be a missionary. He should lead a life of a missionary. All right. Then third one, to prepare atmosphere favorable for the creative genius of the future. And third one is to make others, all right, genius. All right. It is not only function of it is not merely the duty of the poet to become himself a genius. He should make others genius. He should make others intellectual. He should make others understand, because he is a missionary, because his duty is to teach. He is an excellent teacher, poet, because all these are based on moralistic attitude. So, these are the three important functions of a poet or a critic that have to be kept in mind. A critic should have all these points you can keep. A critic should have some points that you keep. Sometimes they will ask you what should be a critic according to Arnold. Critic should have point you can keep. Critic. A critic should have finest fact. He should have finest fact. Means what? He should keep only the real fact in his life. Second one, the nicest moderation. He should have nicest moderation. All right, towards life. Then third one, he should be most free to be approached. Most free. All right, he should be most free. That since he becomes a poet, no one is allowed to approach him. No, he should be most free. That means he should be more flexible. All right, more flexible. He should be always flexible. That he should allow everybody to approach him. He should be ardent. All these points, ardent. All right, ardent. Ardent to consider humanity. Over widening knowledge. He should have wide knowledge. A critic should have wide knowledge. Should have wide knowledge. Then intellectual effort. He should maintain intellectual effort. All these are the points that you keep. One, a critic should have. Critic should have these qualities as per Essays in Criticism written by Arnold. What all the qualities of a critic should have. Finest fact, nicest moderation, most free, flexible, ardent, over-widening knowledge, and intellectual effort. Now towards the end, he has one more vehicle or one more method that he keeps. High seriousness. That is grand style, different way. High seriousness is quality in the poem. High seriousness. It is really high seriousness. Right from the beginning, Aristotle maintained, Horace maintained, Dante maintained what is called high seriousness. Means what? All the epic writers based their topics on high seriousness of the quality of the characters. In the same way, high seriousness of the poem later towards Age of Reason and Romantic revival time, Wordsworth, including headed by Wordsworth, all the people rejected this concept of high seriousness. Slowly, they came to very lucid, very common subject matter, because they upheld what? Common people to be addressed first. During the time earlier, before Age of Reason classics time, high seriousness was there because poetry earlier was meant for high class society. Now towards the 18th and later part of 19th century, all the writers judged there that should be kept for common people. So this is what happened. So high seriousness. But Arnold says, if your poem to be read, if your poem to be criticized in the proper way, you should maintain high seriousness. It is like a grand style. It has two important elements. Excellent matter. What is high seriousness? Excellent matter. Matter should be very important. Not a common people like daffodils. Not a common like solitary reaper. Not a common like a rainbow in the sky, galaxy in the sky. It should have a grand, excellent subject. The plot should be excellent matter, great matter, grand style matter. Then only it would work out for intellectual development. It should have excellent matter, then the excellent expression. All right. So high seriousness meant for excellent matter and excellent expression. Matter and manner are interdependent. This matter and manner are always interdependent. If it is matter is highlighted, then manner of writing the poem will be highlighted, because it would always tell the story of noble people. It will also tell the story of noble kings and queens. Earlier it was written like that. High seriousness arises from the harmonious blending of matter and manner of substance. Grand style, Aristotle, high seriousness, long and sublime. This becomes the real touchstone. That is what he means towards the end of his essays in criticism. This high seriousness would recommend a grand style. The grand style is to make the society or the matter to be harmonious. Then everything will be blended together. So in this way, Arnold criticizes all the poets who had not been maintained grand style and seriousness are not at all poets at all. But those people who maintained grand style, high seriousness, the decorum of writing, they are very renowned poets and they are to be estimated in the proper way. In this way, Arnold criticized right from the beginning to the end what is a poet, who is a critic, what is to be function, what all the tools by which we can write a poem. That is the method. So Arnold as a critic, now we conclude Arnold in this way. and our all criticism topics now already over. Only some areas that we will make on revision classes in future. Till that moment, goodbye.